Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event on this edition of NWA Anarchy. The Devil's Rejects, Tank and Iceberg, formerly the NWA Anarchy Tag Team Champions, with the Reverend Dan Wilson at ringside. Their opponents, Onyx, the Genetic Powerhouse, and the former NWA Anarchy Heavyweight Champion, the feature presentation, Jeff Lewis, with agent attorney Jeff G. Bailey at ringside. 2 weeks ago, we saw Jeff G. Bailey level the playing field a little bit.
We saw Jeff G. Bailey level the playing field, and right now, Jeff Lewis trying to level Iceberg. He was able to take off his feet. But, you know, the one question I have here, aren't there child labor laws here in the state of Georgia?
Yes.
OSHA would be really disappointed that we've got some 12-year-old kid refereeing this match. And what's his kid's name?
Wesley Grissom.
Okay, whatever his name is, Wesley Grissom. He's 12 years old, and he's in here, man. This is an occupational hazard when you got these four men, these two factions, the Devil's Rejects and the NWA Elite. I mean, this right here, I mean, Greg Hunter, sickness personified. I was at the home of Jeff G. Bailey this past weekend getting my taxes done. Stand-up job. I didn't realize some of those deductions I could take, like claiming you as a dependent. But we were in the library of Jeff G. Bailey, and you should see this guy's extensive serial killer art collection.
I mean, I knew that was his hobby. Right now, Onyx just overpowering.
No, Greg Hunter.
Strong style psycho cover again, too.
Hobbies are making model airplanes and sniffing the glue. That's not what Jeff G. Bailey does. It's a passion for him, a love. It's a love and a passion. I mean, how many people out there would actually admit, or should I say proudly admit, that they collect memorabilia from serial killers?
I mean, I guess everybody's got to have a hobby. Wesley Grissom, almost a victim of the occupational hazard as Iceberg ran back into the corner by Onyx. The Genetic Powerhouse now taking the fight to the 600-pounder, as thus far the NWA Elite, the most unlikely heroes in the history of this building, are taking the fight to the Rejects. I should say were taking the fight to, and Iceberg misses the leg drop of doom, double leg, and now pounding on the being of inconceivable horror. The Rejects are reeling.
Greg Hunter, I said it last year at this time. I said it all throughout the time that Team Anarchy and the Devil's Rejects and the Team Anarchy just wasn't evil enough. Now, I had to say one thing. We got the Elite. They're evil enough. They're sick enough. They may be overly sick and evil. They may have even trumped Dan Wilson here, Greg Hunter. But don't let anybody fool you. Dan Wilson feels that Jeff G. Bailey, a man that he, I guess you could say, looked up to, a man that he had a lot of respect for, stabbed him in the back by lending out the services of Abyss at Fright Night back in November of 2006. And that's what's led to this war. And I mean, the soldiers that are on the front lines, I mean, they're fighting it out. And they are willing to lay down and die for their respective teams.
All right, now Jeff Lewis rocking and reeling on Iceberg. Tag, back in comes the Genetic Powerhouse. The last time that these two factions collided head-to-head was at Seasons Beatings in a massive 8-man tag. The Elite won by disqualification, which you have to know did not set well with them. And right now, tag team competition has turned into a game of one-upsmanship. I mean, Jeff Lewis and Onyx took on a great up-and-coming tag team here 2 weeks ago, Truett Fields and Shatter. They got the win in impressive fashion. Out walks the Rejects and decimates Truett and Shatter shortly thereafter in about 30 seconds. This is turning into a game of anything you can do, I can do better. Very few do a clothesline that takes someone's head from their shoulders any better than Iceberg.
Well, Dan Wilson was able to distract the attention of one Jeff Lewis there for 5 seconds, giving Iceberg enough chance to level Jeff Lewis with that clothesline, and now a headbutt from the second rope. And you got to remember, that's 600 pounds coming crashing down on you. I mean, that's going to take a lot out of you.
Imagine if you can possibly do so. Arrogant cover, only a 2 count. Not that the win matters to the Rejects. It didn't matter at season's beatings. It didn't matter in the war with Anarchy. It won't matter today. They're here to hurt, maim, and destroy people. Competition is meaningless to these men. They don't care if they get the bigger end of the paycheck. They just want to hurt you.
Greg Hunter, 2006, I mean, Tank really, you know, besides doing the work with the Devil's Rejects here at the NWA Arena in their war with Team Anarchy, I mean, Tank toured the nation in deathmatch tournaments all throughout, throughout America. I mean, this guy has become one of the most dangerous wrestlers there are out there, and I mean, well-respected, well-feared. And he's brought that to the Devil's Rejects, and we're seeing that here. I mean, Onyx is hurting his partner more than he's helping him right now, but look at Tank in the ring. Tank is very calm, very collective, just waiting for that moment that he can get back on the attack.
He certainly is. Dan Wilson with the Staff of Righteousness trying to impale Lewis on the floor. Tag. In comes the altar of human mutilation, the 600-pound Iceberg. And Iceberg driving the forearm between the shoulder blades of Lewis. Right hand will draw Onyx back in the ring. Onyx, a 3-time NWA Wildside Heavyweight Champion. He has more intelligence, more experience than to hurt his partner in this way. But this goes to show you how high the stakes are, and goes to show you exactly what the Rejects have been doing to everyone, including the NWA Elite. Cover again, only a 2 count.
Rare event to see Jeff G. Bailey one up, to see his charges left laying. I mean, Jeff G. Bailey is a very smart man. He instills a killer instinct into his men like nobody I've ever seen, with the exception of maybe Dan Wilson now. I mean, Jeff G. Bailey is serving up Kool-Aid in a factory somewhere, and his men have been drinking it.
Good grief. Just assaulting Jeff Lewis, 400 pounds on the man's chest. That could do neck damage. His head was draped over that bottom rope. His whole body now draped over the top rope. Here comes Tank! And down goes Lewis. Onyx now over to check on his partner.
Everybody in this match, Greg Hunter, has tasted gold at one time or another here in the NWA Arena. Tank and Iceberg, of course, former NWA Anarchy Tag Team Champions as part of the Devil's Rejects. Jeff Lewis, the former NWA World Television Champion 2 times, and a former NWA Anarchy Heavyweight Champion, Of course, Onyx, as you mentioned before, 3-time NWA Wildside Champion. Iceberg, a former NWA Wildside Champion. So, I mean, the pedigrees of these men have been written over and over again. I mean, it's one of those things that you can just look at and realize how great all 4 of these men are. Dan Wilson, Jeff G. Bailey, 2 of the greatest minds this sport has ever seen. This right here is going to be a war, and this can make a very long, cold winter a hot one here in the NWA Arena. And I predict that this battle is going to wage on for quite some time.
Well, right now, you mentioned the minds leading the armies. Dan Wilson has proven, Lewis here could be fading in the bear hug. Wes Grissom checking the arm 2 times. He waves it off. Jeff Lewis trying to fight back out of this bear hug. The crowd here at the NWA Arena trying to rally behind the NWA Elite. Right hands now to the head of the Strong Style Psycho. And Lewis finally getting loose. As you said, tag. Wait a second. Here comes Onyx. Onyx, big clothesline, staggers the Psycho. Ducks the clothesline from Iceberg. Shoulder tackle. Iceberg into the ropes. And now full Nelson. Onyx has the full Nelson on Tank. And now, here come the rest of the Rejects. Oh, good grief.
Mob mentality, Greg Hunter.
This is the same thing we saw happen at Season's beatings. The Rejects simply do not care.
Wait a minute.
They will. Oh, good. Oh, here's the same monster. The same monster we saw 2 weeks ago.
We've been told that this man's name is Abomination. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
700 pounds, or 7 feet tall. He's got to tip the scales at close to 500 pounds. And now they just throw Wesley Grissom at this monstrous being. And now, oh Lord, they got Grissom up. This is a message. Good Lord.
Well, I told you, OSHA's going to be investigating this one, Greg Hunter.
Not the kind of message that I would want to see.
Whoa. Back up, Dan. You know what? As much as I'd like to see you guys beat the crap out of each other week in and week out, we are not getting anything accomplished out here. So I tell you how we're going to handle some of it. I'm going to ask this crowd. I'm thinking about a six-man with Onyx, Jeff Lewis, and this big SOB against any of the three of your rejects. What about it, Cornelia Jordan?
Fans loving that idea, Greg Hunter.
So it sounds like to me at the next TV, we've got a six-man plan. Here's the catch. It's not these guys that keep messing it all up and makes it so we cannot get anything accomplished here. It is you, and it's you as usual. So, for the six-man match, the next television taping, Dan, you are banned from ringside.
Dan Wilson, barred from ringside.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. There's a but.
Call it what you want, but that's the way it's going to be. Jeff, hang on. In all sense of fairness, you're also banned from ringside.
Wow.
The managers.
That is the way it's going to be. A six-man next TV. These three men without Jeff Bailey and any three you got without you for the match. Good night, Dan.
Can you believe that?